From Louisville, Kentucky comes the first episode of SRLA News with your host DeAUNDRE Yates.
So this video is going to be a little different from the videos that I normally make, but I just can't be quiet on the subject anymore. And basically, I'm going to give my thoughts on the whole situation involving Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, as well as the Dallas shootings that happened just yesterday. So I'm going to start off with Alton Sterling and then lead into Philando Castile and the Dallas shootings, and just my whole thought process on the whole situation. How many videos are we going to receive of police officers brutally killing and murdering civilians on camera? Honestly, it's starting to become something that's not defining this generation, but it's definitely becoming a part of this generation. And it's sad, you know what I mean? I'm 21, I'm a young person, so I like to think of myself as a part of this new generation that's growing up into the world. With that said, you have young kids in America that are in elementary school, middle school, high school, that are seeing these videos. They are seeing this type of violence at such a young age and being exposed to something that, honestly, when you think about America's history, you would think that, you know, we would be a hell of a lot more mature than this. You think we'd learn of seeing these terrible things that's happened in America's past, so that way they wouldn't be repeated in the future. But I guess it's true what people say, history really does repeat itself. Jumping back to Alton Sterling, I mean, the way that police officer holds that man down on the ground and shoots him multiple times in the stomach, not once, not twice, not three times. There are multiple shots that are heard and visibly seen in the video. The way that man is murdered was absolutely unnecessary. Absolutely unnecessary. That police officer had no right to do what he did in that video. Absolutely not. He was surrounded by other police officers at the time, not to mention that Alton Sterling was subdued on the ground. People say that Alton Sterling had a gun on him and that he had a weapon on him, and that if you look at the video, it kind of looks like he's going for the gun. With that said, do you think it's necessary for that officer to brutally murder and execute that man the way he did in front of everybody that was around him? He was in front of a store, he was in front of fucking people that was recording it on the side. That was fucking terrible. That was bad police work. That was unprofessional as fuck. The way that officer just murders that man like that in cold fucking blood, that was absolutely unprofessional. Absolutely unprofessional. Bad fucking police work. And the thing that really irritates me with this situation, and it's been before Alton Sterling and Philando Castile, is that there is a pattern here. There is a pattern of black people being violently murdered by police officers in America. And with that said, the officer is not always white in the situations where a black man is killed. It's not always a racial fucking situation. Now, with that said, I do believe that with Alton Sterling and Philando Castile, that them being black definitely has something to do with the way that they were fucking killed on camera like that. I definitely do believe that them being black was the reason for them being killed like that. Now, before jumping into that, I want to talk a little bit about Philando Castile and how fucking terrifying and horrifying it was to see this man fucking dying in a front seat because he was shot for reaching for his paperwork and wallet. Now, according to the video, Philando did have a weapon on him, but he also had a license to carry. This man was authorized to carry the weapon that he had on him. And with that said, why the fuck is this officer's automatic first response is that Philando is trying to cause harm to him? Why the fuck is that the first thing this officer thinks? And therefore he needs to shoot and kill this man because he thinks that Philando is possibly going to try to kill him. First of all, if Philando was trying to kill the officer, do you really think he would tell the officer that he has a gun in the car? Honestly, think about this. Philando Castile's pulled over on the side of the road. There is a weapon in this car. I am telling you that there is a weapon in this car. So that means that you as a police officer needs to understand he is telling me that there's a weapon in this car, but he says that there's a license to carry. If you think that this man wanted to cause harm to you, now I'm speaking to the officer in particular, if you think this man wanted to cause harm to you, why the hell would he tell you that there's a weapon in the car? Not to mention that there are multiple people in the car. He has his fiance next to him and his kid in the back seat. And yet still, after telling this officer that he has a weapon in the car, for some fucking reason, he still feels threatened, pulls his gun out and fires on Philando fires on Philando, so he doesn't even give him a chance to pull out any of his paperwork. It's bullshit that this police officer's first fucking response when he sees Philando moving around in his car is that Philando is trying to kill him, so therefore I need to kill this man. Why the fuck is that your first fucking response? Why is that your first response to Philando moving around in his fucking car? Honestly, the way that video played out and the vibes that I was getting from that officer as he was still holding his gun as Philando was slouched over, dying, bleeding out, is that we're marked as savages. Black people are automatically marked as savages. And with that said, I'm not saying that just black people suffer from this problem. Obviously, there are other races out there that suffer from problems like this. But I'm really kind of fucking set on this situation right now because it's a pattern. There is a pattern that is going around of black people being killed, unjustly killed by police officers. You can flip the script if you want to. Me being a regular civilian and seeing these videos of cops brutally killing and murdering civilians, it makes me think that cops are nothing more than trigger-happy animals that can kill anybody whenever they want and have no lawful consequences. There's been over 200 shootings involving police officers in 2016 America already, and it's not even fucking August yet. And it's not just black people that are suffering from the hands of brutality from police. We have got to recognize the cases where unrightful choices were made that involved other races. This is not just a black problem. This is not just a black problem. I do believe that there's a black problem going on with these scenarios, but at the end of the day, it's not just a black problem. I mean, you have got to realize and recognize the other cases where unrightful choices were made towards other races involving police officers and brutal fucking force. But it's not just a black problem. I mean, at the end of the day, it's shitty fucking police work. But with all that said, you still got to recognize that there's a pattern here, specifically with Philando Castile and Alton Sterling, and it doesn't start with them. It's a pattern that's been around for a long time, and that pattern is unjustful treatment against black people by the police. And I gotta say, with Philando Castile and Alton Sterling, I definitely believe that those two situations is what led to the Dallas shooting. The Dallas shooting was a terrible event. I mean, we're talking about up to 12 officers being shot. I believe they said 5 of them died, and I think they said 1 civilian even got shot. But as terrible as the Dallas shooting was, after Alton Sterling and Philando Castile's death, there was going to be a violent retaliation. I mean, if you think about, like I said, there's been a pattern, and this pattern's been around for so fucking long. I mean, why the fuck do you think hashtag Black Lives Matter exists? Why the fuck do you think that that's a hashtag? As sad as it is and as sad as it sounds, this is a normalcy for black people. I mean, you always hear people talking about the silent war against cops or the silent war in general. This is what it is. This fucking pattern of unjustful treatment against black people by police officers. When a great amount of people are put in an oppressed situation, retaliation is inevitable. I mean, after 9/11, for instance, what did America do? After we were attacked, what did America do? We retaliated. When a population is pushed to an extent, retaliation will occur. Look at what happened with Moses. Moses and his people, Hebrews, they were dying, they were enslaved. They rose against their oppression. They rose against and retaliated against the system that kept them down. I mean, you want to take it from there, jump from the 1400s to the 1600s, 1700s, 1800s, slavery in the Americas, black people, Native Americans, Chinese, various races, all being oppressed and brutalized by evil force. And what was the consequences of that said brutality and oppression? Retaliation. When black slaves would run away from their fucking slave owners and the fucking hell that they were brought into in America to fucking free themselves from suffering and slavery and savagery and brutality. And it's not just slavery that's caused oppression. Look at civil rights, human rights, the right to marry whoever the fuck you love. Everything that I just fucking talked about in this fucking video, everything that I just talked about, all goes to prove that when societies are pushed, retaliation will occur. Eventually, oppression will push a person or people to respond against that situation. And sometimes it could be handled peacefully, like through peaceful protests and gatherings of some sort. But with the good comes the ugly, like what happened in Dallas, where a group of radical people stood out against oppression. And it's not just a black thing, it's a civilian thing. People will not stand for oppression and brutality. People will respond against an oppressive force. And right now, as unfortunate as it is, that oppressive force is the police. And like I said earlier in this video, there are radical individuals out there that realize that there's a pattern going on and they're doing these horrendous fucking things. Now, are all police officers bad? Are all police officers evil? Are all police officers going out here and brutally killing civilians? No, they are not. But a percentage is. And we have got to fucking realize and recognize that there is a problem with the police as of right now. We have got to realize that. Look, unless something is done, violence will continue. History proves it. But when are we going to learn from it? This country has a very dark, very dirty, and very fucked up past that has gotten us to where we are now in life. And it seems like no matter how far we progress, we always take a few steps back in the way we treat others and those around us. It's fucking sad. Learn from the past, better your future. That's all I have to say on the subject for right now involving Philando Castile, Alton Sterling, and the Dallas shootings. Go ahead and post your comments. Let me know what you all think about on the subject. This is just, I guess, my standpoint on the entire situation as a whole. As dark of a subject as this is, it's something that's going on with this generation, and I just can't be silent about it. These situations that's going on right now and this pattern that's existed for so fucking long is something that I think this generation definitely needs to start thinking about more. It's embarrassing. Imagine how the rest of the world is looking at us right now. Imagine how the rest of the world is looking at America with the police killing their own fucking citizens in this manner. It's embarrassing and it's scary because it honestly makes me wonder, what if the next person that the police kills is someone that I know? What if it's my friend? What if it's a family member? What if it's me? Something needs to be done. Some meeting needs to be held because as of right now, with the distrust that exists between police and its citizens, it's scary. There should not be this type of distrust. It is fucking frightening what is going on right now. It's 2016. I mean, we have fucking smartphones and Bluetooth speakers for fuck's sake. Yet we're still dealing with problems that we've dealt with since literally the beginning of time. And it's fucking scary that we still have not gotten over it. Why the fuck is oppression still existing in this form? It's fucking ridiculous and it's embarrassing. It should be embarrassing as a human being, honestly. It's fucking terrifying the way this is happening, the way people are dying like this. Something needs to be done. What's happening right now should be embarrassing to everyone. Not as an American, not as a black person or any race that you are. It should be embarrassing as a human being. As a human being, this should be embarrassing and it should be frightening. This should be scary. It's 2016, like I said. We're in the future, guys. Come on. Time travel is not that far. Look at this shit. Doctor Who, god damn it. It's the year 2016 and yet we're still dealing with problems that's existed since the beginning of time. Because oppression has existed for a long fucking time and it's scary the way its roots are still in America and it's like there's no hope to get them out. But I know that it can change. This generation today, people like me, people like you, people on YouTube, celebrities, movie stars, young people that are rising right now, we're different. We're different from people that grew up in the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. We're different. We're different from those generations. And I feel like we have a chance to kind of create our own mark in this world to stand out from all those other generations. Technology is on our side. It's 2016. Floating cars are not too far away. You know time travel is going to be here pretty soon, like I said earlier. We got fucking robots that are coming from Japan. That's fucking nuts, by the way. Transformers, you know that shit's real. There are actual Transformers in Japan. I'm not even going to get started. That's a whole nother topic from right there. But like I said, this generation is different from the generations of past. And it sucks to see that, like, past generations still have their negative influences and their negative roots kind of dug into this newer generation. And it shouldn't be like that. This generation is different from all the other generations, like I said, and we have a chance to change things. But we need to stop the violence. We need to sit down and figure something out. Because if we don't, violence will continue and it's going to lead to something. It could lead to another civil war. And that is fucking terrifying. That's fucking scary. But that's it, man. That's all I have to say on this situation. I mean, reporting live from my room, DeAUNDRE YATES, SRL News. Have a good night.